Okay, so you want to own a casino. A glittering palace of lights, shimmering fountains, and the intoxicating rush of spinning reels and tumbling dice, all churning out the kind of profit margins that would make Scrooge McDuck blush. But behind the razzle-dazzle and the gaudy chandeliers, what does it actually take to operate one of these cash vacuuming behemoths? First, let's talk about the lifeblood of any casino, the games. Slot machines are your big earners, accounting for upwards of 70% of gaming revenue in most establishments. And it's no wonder. The average slot has a baked-in house edge, the statistical advantage hardwired into the game, hovering between 5 to 10%. That means for every $100 fed in, the casino keeps $5 to $10 right off the top, no questions asked. Apply that skim to the hundreds or even thousands of machines whirring away 24/7, and you're staring down some serious cash flow. Table games like blackjack and craps typically offer a slimmer edge in the 1 to 5% range, but with higher average bets, they can still be lucrative earners. But gaming revenue is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole ecosystem of ancillary cash streams that round out the powerhouse business model of a well-oiled casino. Take the hotels, for instance. The goal here isn't necessarily to turn a tidy profit on the rooms themselves, but rather to keep patrons on the premises and within stagger distance of the gaming floor. The longer they're in-house, the thinking goes, the more chances they'll have to donate to the casino's coffers. That's why you'll often find room rates suspiciously lower than comparable non-casino hotels. They're classic loss leaders, carefully calibrated to entice guests into an extended stay and play. The same principle extends to the smorgasbord of food and beverage options peppering every casino floor from Reno to Atlantic City. Margins on the restaurants, bars, buffets, and clubs are often razor-thin or non-existent, sometimes even operating at a deliberate loss. But that's all part of the grand plan. A non-stop carnival of dining and drinking options to keep the crowds lubricated, satiated, and primed for more gaming. After all, it's hard to pull yourself away from the roulette table when an endless procession of steak dinners and free cocktails are just a button press away. Then there's the mythical high roller effect, the wondrous whale song that keeps casino execs seeing green. While these coveted whales, deep-pocketed gamblers with a penchant for eye-watering bets, might only account for a small sliver of the overall visitor pie, their outsized impact on the bottom line is nothing short of profound. It's not unusual for a casino to comp, to give away for free, lavish suites, gourmet meals, private jets, courtside tickets, and pretty much anything else a VIP's heart desires, all in exchange for their rarefied level of action on the gaming floor. A single whale who manages to drop a cool million over a weekend can easily eclipse the profit churned out by thousands of penny slot players. As they say, the house doesn't beat the players beat each other, and the house collects the vig. But if corralling whales is the shimmering dream, the daily reality of running a successful gaming operation is more akin to hacking through an endless thicket of logistical hurdles, security headaches, and regulatory red tape. Because beneath the clanging of the jackpots and the clinking of the cocktail glasses, a casino is essentially a pulsing, non-stop city unto itself. And keeping that self-contained metropolis humming along is no cakewalk. Consider the punishing overhead of keeping the lights ablaze and the machines buzzing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're talking utility bills that would make a Saudi prince swoon, electricity to power the phalanxes of slots and video poker consoles, a tidal wave of water to keep the fountains frothing and the faucets flowing, and a veritable hurricane of HVAC to transport patrons from the blistering heat of the Mojave Desert to the frosty reaches of an Arctic ice bar in the space of 10 paces. It's a steroidal infrastructure burden that would hobble most businesses, but for casinos, it's just the opening ante. Then there's the army of staff required to keep operations running smoothly around the clock. A small city's worth of dealers, cocktail servers, chefs, security guards, maintenance crews, valets, and an org chart of suited execs to marshal them all. Labor is consistently one of the top 3 expenses for most casinos, often consuming up to a third of total revenues. And with many frontline roles requiring highly specific skills, like dexterous card handling or acute powers of observation to spot cheats and advantage players, the battle for talent can be as fierce as the competition on the gaming floor. Which brings us to security, the unseen line of defense that stands between an honestly run gaming house and a lawless den of grift and villainy. Because wherever there's money on the line, you can bet your bottom chip that someone will be angling for an illegal edge. Card counters, crooked dealers, chip scammers, slot machine hackers, the rogues gallery of casino cheats reads like an all-star roster of ne'er-do-wells. And they're not just risking the house's bankroll. Unchecked chicanery can quickly corrode the hard-earned trust of legitimate patrons. No one wants to blow their vacation budget in a rigged game. That's why reputable casinos often employ a small army of ex-military and law enforcement personnel to keep things on the up and up. A well-trained eye in the sky watching every table, every chip stack, every shuffle and deal. RFID embedded chips to foil counterfeiters. Facial recognition software to ID known cheats and crooks. A battery of algorithms and human intuition to spot statistical anomalies and suspicious betting patterns. All told, the security tab can easily eat up 10 to 15% of revenues, a necessary shakedown to keep the 99% of us who play by the rules coming back for more. And then there's the final boss of the casino business model, the taxman and his retinue of regulators, auditors, and bean counters. Because in this industry, the house isn't the only one raking in a share of the action. From the IRS to FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, to the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, to the gaming boards of each state, casinos are beholden to a Byzantine web of federal and local watchdogs, each eager to grab their slice of the pie. Compliance is non-negotiable. A small army of lawyers and accountants dutifully cataloging every chip and churning out forests of paperwork to keep the operation squeaky clean and out of the headlines. The cost? Typically 20 to 25% of gaming revenues siphoned off the top. So why would anyone willingly shoulder such a staggering litany of operating expenses and headaches? The short answer is breathtaking profit potential. When the music is playing and the dice are hot, the world's biggest casinos can easily clear billions annually, with net margins pushing 30%. Enough filthy lucre to make most Fortune 500 CFOs weep with envy. The secret sauce is volume, volume, volume. A tidal deluge of humanity cycling through the halls, the pits, the atriums, each visitor leaving behind their little tithe to the statistical edge. The entire operation is painstakingly engineered, from the maze-like layout of the gaming floor to the deliberate absence of clocks and windows, to swirl patrons in a timeless vortex of chance and dopamine. A living, breathing, clanging, whirring, blinking, buzzing monument to the raw power of the immutable laws of probability. It's high-stakes Darwinism in action, a finely tuned machine sorting winners from losers and shearing away that crucial 5%, a nickel from every dollar, a penny from every chip. And while the individual patron may ride a few hot hands or hit a serendipitous jackpot, in the end, the numbers never lie. The house always wins. So the next time you find yourself dazzled by the choreographed fountains and transported by the oxygen-pumped atmosphere, pause for a moment between spins and sips to appreciate the grand illusion. The improbable oasis of the casino rising up from the desert, an unrelenting engine of alchemy, transmuting the hopes and dreams of the many into the mansions and mega-yachts of the few. Behold the eighth wonder of the capitalist world. Just try not to think too hard about it when you're floating in the infinity pool sipping comped Mai Tais. Your free steak dinner a happy but hazy memory. Enjoy the distractions. Marvel at the spectacle. Double down on that lucky number. But whatever you do, don't peek behind the curtain. Don't dwell on the whirring of the cogs. Don't ask how the magic happens. Just nod and smile and keep those chips flowing. Because in the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Jackpots, ignorance isn't just bliss, it's the whole business model.